Pledge of Allegiance. Oops.
It's
You want me to?
I was a little late. No, I think you're good.
Okay, because I can repeat. I'm calling to the meeting to order, Douglas Library Board of Trustees regular meeting for Monday, April 8th, 2024. And I believe we have a quorum, and I think our first item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I wore my fancy shirt if anyone wants to.
Oh, I've got my Yukon shirt on.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right.
I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the
to the
flag
flag
of the
of
United
the United
States
States of America
and to the
and to the
republic
republic
for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
with
justice.
justice for all. Did someone else sign in that I missed after Dale?
You see my shirt?
Yeah. My nephew is going to Purdue School of Engineering, and he is not speaking to me.
I will say that I had a bit of an issue in the women's Final Four because I graduated from South Carolina. And so it was kind of a, yeah. Wasn't quite sure who I was rooting for there for a while.
It was too, I had to turn the game off. I just couldn't stand it. It was just so nerve-wracking. Okay.
I'm going to have a withdrawal starting tomorrow.
Okay. I mean, is someone speaking? I can't pick it up.
Let me see if I can figure out where it's coming from. Hang on.
It's not one of our participants, is it?
Yes, it is, but I'm not sure who.
Oh, okay. All right then.
It's
Okay,
somebody. It's background noise from somebody.
Well, the next section we have is public comments. Is there anyone who is out there that wishes to make a public comment? I don't see anybody present. No? Okay. Number 3 is the agenda. Is everyone okay with the agenda? Did anyone want to make any modifications or changes?
Yeah, I'd like to, if I may.
Sure.
I had asked Drusilla to put down item 3, a consent agenda.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to formally request it be removed from the agenda.
For this particular meeting or forever?
Well, I can't guarantee forever, but it,
Okay.
For this one, okay.
All right.
until it comes up again.
Okay. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of removing this item from the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. Okay. It's officially.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. The next item would be the reports and the approval of the minutes from the last meeting of 3/11/2023. Did anyone have any questions, changes, recommendations regarding those minutes?
Do we mean 23 or 24?
Oh, I think you're right. It's 2024.
Apparently,
Yeah.
I don't know what year it is.
Who does? Okay.
Yeah, don't feel bad.
Let's see. I just know I did my 2023 taxes, so I am confused a bit. So,
But you got the taxes filed?
I got them filed. I haven't paid them yet.
Well, that's okay, as long as you got it filed.
Yeah. Okay. Did anyone have any changes or modifications to the 2011-2024 meeting minutes? No, hearing none. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
I so move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Can I second? Am I allowed to? I don't know.
Sure.
Okay. And any discussion? No. Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions.
I'm going to abstain. I wasn't there.
Okay. Ooh. Yes, we have four. We have a quorum. We have 4 of the 5 voting. We're fine. Okay, moving on. The next item would be the Friends of the Douglas Library, and I believe Pam is here today.
I am, and I just, I'm sorry I missed the last meeting. I had a scheduling conflict. But I would like to withhold anything. I'll hold my comments until the new business portion of the meeting to hear, what is involved with the, I believe it's a MOU.
Yeah, or MOA.
Oh, no, I thought it was a U
No, I think I said a memorandum of agreement. So,
of
but
agreement.
yeah,
That's
so
even
so,
more troubling, but okay,
but we can call it whatever we want because we haven't drafted anything yet.
okay.
Okay, so that's up for grabs too. Okay, is that anything else you want to say, Pam?
Basically, yeah, it's around that particular
Mm-hmm.
topic. I mean, other than we had a book sale,
Okay.
and it went well. But other than that, it involves the moving
Okay.
forward.
Did you have anything else to report about the activities of the Friends?
We not really. We don't meet every month, so we did have a meeting, and the Friends are updating some of their bylaws because some of the things are outdated in the bylaws. And we'll be voting on those at the next meeting.
Okay. All right.
We propose changes.
Okay. Um, Drusilla, do we have a copy of their bylaws?
I do not, no.
Can you keep us apprised of that, Pam, of what you're up to over there in
Sure.
terms of, because I don't think
I
I
mean,
have a
I
copy.
can get Drusilla the old bylaws. It basically, some of it was like just outdated. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it referred to things we don't do anymore.
Okay.
Book sales we don't have anymore, and just some changes like that. So, I mean,
Okay.
it's not, and I believe Gail has a copy of them.
Gail, do you have a copy of the bylaws? You know what, Drusilla, if she sends them over, can you make sure we all get copies?
Of course.
Okay. All right. Um,
And like I
let's,
said, the new ones will be, we put in the proposed changes, and
okay.
they'll be voted on at the next meeting in May.
Okay. And if they're if, and if they're approved, so you'll send us copies, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, I did get a copy. I was out all day at medical appointments, but I saw I had a copy from Tim and Maureen.
Yeah.
But I would propose that each member of the Board of Trustees always have the current copy
Yeah.
on file.
Yeah, and we have our little booklets, so we can put it in our little booklets that we received.
Our loose leaf binders, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
good place for it.
Good idea. All right. Pam, are you done? Or I don't want to cut you off.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. The next would be the town manager representative. Don, are you there?
I am here, yes. Good evening, everyone. Just a few quick updates. We are in the midst of our budget, as you all know, the budget and CIP. The public hearing is scheduled for April 16th. That is 7 p.m. at the library community room. And then we will vote on May 7th. ARPA, we are busy working on ARPA and trying to pin down the projects. The ones that have libraries should have interest in is the bridge project, the parking lot to Pendleton Drive Bridge. And then we are also working on the hybrid meeting room for the library. We did come up with a solution for the town office building meeting room, very reasonably priced. We did it for under $500. So the bulk of the money that's been approved will go toward the library. space. We are working with a vendor. Their price came in over what we've budgeted for that. And I'm trying to set up a meeting right now with him to go over their proposal in detail, try to get him to sharpen his pencil a little bit, but we are still moving ahead with that. And Drusilla, I will let you know as soon as I pin down a date with him. We're going back and forth with this is the one with Valley Communication,
Okay.
and he needs to get his engineer on the same schedule as our availability. I can report the Maple Fest was a huge success. The library saw a lot of traffic. All of downtown saw a lot of traffic. It was a really wonderful event. Everybody was very happy with it. We made a little bit of money, and we already started planning for next year.
You know, I don't know who's
I
talking, but
know.
is
Maybe we
that
could mute everybody except the person that is speaking. On the computer replacements, we are still working on our overall computer replacement schedule. Staff computer, library, full-time staff computers have been replaced with the laptops. We're continuing to work on the security project. We're going to get some new cameras for the library and working on keyless entry for all buildings. And I believe that is it.
did
Thank
anyone have
you.
did anyone have any questions or comments? May I ask, what did you guys buy for the meeting room in the town hall?
Oh, for the town hall?
Yeah.
So I got the Hebron Board of Ed donated used Chromebooks. I bought a camera, just a computer camera, and I bought a couple their speaker microphones. And I worked with Keith Pettit, who has set up a similar setup for the Republican Town Committee meetings. And we've tested it with a few different, with the Public Building Committee has used it a few times. I used it for charter revision, and it works pretty good. And like I
Good.
said, we did it for under $500. This type of solution would not work for the library community room. It's
Too lo-
just that room needs professional
yeah.
professional help. So,
Yeah, it's
which
quite
will,
large.
yeah, yeah. So that's where, we decided if we could come up with this very inexpensive solution that works at the town hall, we can use the money that is budgeted in ARPA and put it all into the library. Because the quotes that came in, the quote was for the town office building meeting room was $50,000.
Ay, ay, ay.
And
Yeah.
we did it for under 5. And the quote in front of us right now for the library is 80,000,
Yeah.
which we
I'm
need to,
sorry.
well, there's some things in there that we really don't think are necessary. So we're, like I said, going to see if he can sharpen his pencil. We will go through the proposal line by line and see what can be eliminated and come up with something that will work for us. And but that's more in line with our budget.
Wow.
Donna, I'm
Yes.
not sure. I'm not sure of all the technicalities or the technical things in doing this, but is there any way we can get whatever communication system from town hall over to the library so that when the early voting comes on for the presidential election, perhaps the early voting can be done in the community room of the library as opposed to the Celio room of town hall, since it's for 16 days and we'll probably get a bigger turnout than we did this year.
I don't know about, well, we know it won't be in the Cilio room. and I think that's a conversation for another time, but at this point, it's going to be in the lower level meeting room at Town Hall.
So,
Donna,
why
we
can't,
lost. Donna,
why
we
can't we,
lost you.
why
Did we
can't we
lose
ask for,
Donna? Excuse me,
Just
Peter.
because the way
Yeah.
Oh, there.
things have
Okay.
to be secured, the network that we need for the technical network that we need.
yeah, I just figure we're out doing something there. Perhaps you can get an addition just to get a price so we know what it is. Do you know what it is to run whatever wires need to be run?
I think we lost contact or connection there, so I'm not sure
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Peter, I think it's a conversation we would have offline with the registrars, but there's a lot more than just the line, the connection. Security
Okay.
would be an issue. The ballots have to be locked up every night. I just don't know logistically how that all would work if
Okay,
it was not
okay.
at the town office building.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
thank you. We could talk about
Okay.
it.
Yep, thanks.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm sure Drusilla has some ideas. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next is the chairperson report. I'm happy to report that I went to the eclipse party today and had a wonderful time. It was well organized, well attended. I didn't like my moon pie, but that's okay. And the glasses were given out, and it was just a really well done meeting. And I think everyone had a good time. There were a lot of children there, as well as older folks. And I think it was just the parking lot was nicely blocked off. So I think it was a really good program. So I wanted to congratulate Drusilla.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll
and
pass that on to Claire and Lita as well.
I agree with that, Pat. We had a good time too. Very nicely done.
Yep. And I was surprised how many people got the starburst. I mean, that was just so yeah, and there were little crafts. It was really very, very nice. Okay. I don't think I have anything else to report, but so let's move on to the library director.
So my report was sent out to everyone. Does anybody have any questions?
I think what would be nice if we actually got it somehow into the minutes. I mean, onto, as an oral presentation as well as a documentary
Okay,
presentation.
I'll read through as quickly as I can. Our annual delivery report was submitted in March, so this is the count of how many items, it's one of the various reports we do, how many items were circulated to patrons from other towns who came to our library in person. As separate from how many items did we send out to other libraries and circulate to patrons from other towns. Um, so we do have to break it down by town, so it takes a while, and Judy and Claire helped gather all the info for that. But the total number, I'm not going to break it down by town for you because that gets really finicky, but the total number of items lent in the past 12 months to residents of other towns who visited our library in person was 8,978.
Wow.
John Barron from the Historical Society and David Rose from the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving were here. They met with Derek, who is our 3D printer guru, and he has started the process of printing the QR codes for the history walk. In fact, I think there's one going right now. There was one in there this morning. I have updated the library website. I've been scanning some materials for members of the Historical Society and have made this digital scans of those materials available on our website under a local history tab. So we have some research and genealogy notes. We have some newspaper articles from the 20s and 30s about the history of Hebron. And we have a cookbook that was owned by a Hebron family. And should you ever need a cure for smallpox, there is a recipe for one in that cookbook. I I can't tell you how effective it is, but it's in there.
If it has a lot of booze, you know.
I attended the Eastern Connecticut Library Directors meeting. The Employers Association of the Northeast is an HR sort of consulting firm, and we have access to their services through the Connecticut Library Consortium. So they gave a presentation on the services they offer, and then we all kind of swapped. It's sort of HR brainstorming session, which was very interesting to see what some of the other libraries have issues with, and then trying to brainstorm solutions. The Passport to Connecticut Libraries program started April 1st. So Claire and Lita and I spent a lot of time in March prepping for that. We are one of 150 libraries participating. You stop by any participating library, you pick up a free passport, and you visit other participating libraries and collect stamps. If you visit at least 5 libraries, you are entered in a statewide drawing to win a $200 Visa gift card. There's one gift card for adults and one for kids, and then there's also one adult and one kid who have visited the most libraries in the state. And I do know we have some people working on visiting all 150. We were working on prepping for that, making sure we had all our passports printed and all of that kind of thing.
Wow.
Claire and Lita and I were planning the eclipse viewing party and 3D printing official NASA pinhole viewers, which I got to use one of today, and I was like, look, it works. I attended a Connecticut State Library webinar on changes to the interlibrary loan code. So that is the code that governs all interlibrary loan transactions in the US, which is not the same as the items we get from other libraries in Bibliomation. This is items from outside our consortium, and particularly items that come like that a library in one state lends to a library in another state. So there's a whole code that governs that, and they're going to be making some changes. So I tuned in because I'm the one who tends to request the stuff from out of state. So nothing major, but it was good to know what the changes will be. We have had a bit of trouble with one group of teenagers. It's actually 4, so it is a small group. So I've been working with the staff to create a more consistent response to any incidents so that they know that it doesn't matter who's on the desk, the response will be the same and the penalties will be the same. We have a big group of teens that use the library and hang out, particularly after school, and 99.9% of them are great, but we want to kind of prevent any future issues. So it does seem to be working. We've had less trouble with particularly that group. And so I'm hoping that that will be a trend over time, that they will continue to behave themselves. We've also identified who some of their parents are, so that helps. And finally, Claire has rearranged some of the collections up here on the second floor. So we have a dedicated space for our library of things. We kind of had stuff scattered all over the place prior to this, and we did a little rearranging, and it now has its own space. That people are donating stuff. I had somebody ask me the other day if we wanted an accordion, and I went, sure. So I'm waiting for that to show up, and I have to figure out how to catalog an accordion. But then it's actually circulating really well. We're having, there are a lot of people taking out instruments. There are people starting to ask about taking out the lawn games that we have. My cassette to digital recorder went out last week. So people are starting to figure out that we have some of these things and are taking advantage of it. In terms of building, the locksmith was on site last week. We're looking at rekeying the basement level to have only one key open all of the doors as kind of a first step to master keying. But the big thing is that this would also put a lock on the community room doors, because that does not have a lock, and there are several blind spots for the cameras there. And we found those troublemaking boys attempting to get into the boiler room last week. So we want to make sure that that area is secure and they don't think they can head down there and have water fights or whatever they're doing. So the locksmith is working on that project, and we're hopefully the plan is talking to him that we can do sort of a gradual master keying. Instead of doing the whole building at once, we'll kind of go section by section. And eventually we'll have a master key. And in the meantime, having only one key for the basement level will simplify everybody's life, because we're up and down all the time and trying to remember what key does what, and do we have this key on our key ring? So that will help. From Lita, she's been averaging 20 toddlers at story time and 14 preschoolers. So people really seem to be enjoying her story times. She's been working on a project to relabel the graphic novels. They've been shelved in with fiction, and we're working to attempt to relabel them so that they are kind of their own separate things, so that people who are looking for graphic novels can find them more easily. Lita is planning summer reading. It will be here before we know it. And she's also been coordinating with Claire on activities for adults that kind of fit into the theme of summer reading. And Lita also did 2 webinars this month, one on neurodiverse youth programming and one on readers advisory.
What's a neurodiverse youth program?
So that would be programming for kids who are autistic, kids who might have sensory issues, some of the children who might not be comfortable in regular children's programming for various reasons.
Okay. Well, thank you. I noticed that you've had some large cost in building maintenance.
Yeah, so replacing the heat pump was I mean, obviously we had to fix the heat, but that's bumping us up towards the line on the building maintenance items. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on that, but
Oh, I see. Wow.
it was a chunk. It was close to $8,000 for that. So that was a big dollar amount to get that done, but obviously we can't leave the heat not fixed.
Okay. Did anyone else have any questions or comments for Drusilla? Sounds like they
Drusilla, the $8,000, was it expense or capitalized?
That is a question for Lori. I believe it is under expenses because it's replacing just a part of the system.
No,
Are
I
there
thought it was
any possible other expenses coming up?
I mean, aside from the usual, we have to buy toilet paper. And you never know when something's going to go terribly wrong with the building, but I don't foresee anything in the next couple of months. Of course, I didn't foresee that the heat was going to stop working either, so.
All right. Did anyone else have any questions? Okay. Then hearing none, moving on to the old business poet laureate.
So MA is not here, so I will do a quick rundown of this. The Board of Selectmen approved Larry Zimmerman as our first poet laureate for the town of Hebron. And MA and I will be at some point getting together to plan a reception and poetry reading for him to sort of introduce him to the community as our first poet laureate.
And we'll have that, it'd be nice if the board showed up for that.
I will obviously, once I know what the schedule is and when we're looking at doing it, I will, of course, send something out.
Okay, thank you.
I'd be happy
right.
to bake or anything for that.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that, Dale.
What did you say, Dale? You're going to bake?
Yeah.
What? Oh my.
Yep, she's on the hook. She's baking now. I don't know what she's baking, but she's baking something.
Brownies would be, I'm suggesting, but moving
I
on.
heard they were banana moon pies.
Oh! Homemade banana moon
I'll
pies.
save one just for you, Peter.
Good job, Dale.
Okay, moving on to new business. Meeting room policy update. That is, I believe that Andy made a request that the fees be waived at Drusilla's discretion.
So
for
what Andy has asked is that the meeting room policy says that we can't charge tuition
Yeah.
or fees. Andy has asked that not apply to town departments. So for example, Parks and Rec would use the space and charge tuition or fees for their programs in the space.
Now, in the old policy, we had language in there that it didn't apply at the discretion of the librarian. Am I right on
I
that?
don't remember what it did. It did say that, we didn't charge, fee, you couldn't use the meeting room and charge fees or tuition. I understand that, in the past, the director would often sort of waive that. I don't remember that it was in the policy.
Okay, so I guess we should, if that's something that they desire, uh, we should, I think we should amend the meeting room policy. Did anyone else have any comments on that?
Yeah, if it applies only to the town departments, then yes, I believe it should be revised, Pat. I agree.
Yeah, and
So,
this would only be for town departments. I don't personally want to see like local small businesses running workshops in there and charging money that will go to them. So
I had another question. What about the schools?
the schools use their own spaces. I have
Okay,
not had a request from schools to use our space.
okay. Would you mind drafting up some language for that,
Sure.
for the
I mean,
change?
I would just do where it says that
Except
tuition or
for,
fees cannot be charged except by departments of the town of Hebron. I don't know. I'll come up with some language and draft something.
yeah, that might not work. Yeah. Um, I would put it in as a separate sentence
Okay.
about their being exempt
Mm-hmm.
from that
Okay.
rule specifically. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind. Okay. Uh, anyone else have any comments on about the meeting room policy? No? Memorandum of agreement with Friends of the Library. Drusilla and I and Gail have been collecting different letters of understanding, memorandums of agreement, memorandums of understanding, and various documents that libraries have with the Friends of the Library in their particular area. And the idea behind this is to clarify things so that we can have a better relationship with the Friends and they can have a better relationship with us. And it's my belief that if we spell things out and work on particular items, then we'll be able to not have any misunderstandings or problems in the future. I mean, I know it's hopeful, but Drusilla did some research and you talked to quite a few libraries in the state,
Mm-hmm.
and did some of them have them, or how did that
Yes,
work?
quite a few had either just a simple one-page sort of literally a letter that said that, we're going to work together kind of thing. And then, Weathersfield is notable. They have a very thorough one that spells out the roles and responsibilities of both the Friends and the library.
Do we have copies of that one?
I can send it out to the board. I have it somewhere on this computer. It's in here somewhere in my assorted notes.
Okay, did anyone else have any thoughts about that? I know Pam is here and she was holding back her comments until that. So, Pam, did you have any comments on that? Pam? Did we lose her? Is she still there?
Yeah, she's still here.
Oh. Did anyone else on the board have any comments about this?
Okay, I'm sorry, I was, for some reason it muted.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Pam.
And I didn't realize. I guess the Friends were surprised. Tim, Maureen, and I talked briefly today because we had no idea that that this was coming. I'm not sure if all the trustees know, but the executive board, Tim, Maureen, myself, and Ellen met with Andy. It was Tim and Maureen who set up the meeting, and we met with Andy to discuss our concerns, and then basically Andy had a list. Oh, Donna was also at that meeting. Andy had a list of different bullet points that he went through. And then it was agreed at that meeting that we would have another meeting. Unfortunately, I believe that the time, no one there was no, I guess, time when we all could meet. And so we got an email from Andy saying, and I quote, "Due to the fact that we couldn't get everybody together, this item has been placed on the agenda for the Douglas Library meeting Monday.
Mhm.
Hopefully you can attend, and I know you now have a liaison, but with the two chairs involved, I believe this is a proper place to have a discussion and try to work things out to move forward." So that was our first indication that there was going to be this memorandum.
Pam, there is no memorandum yet.
Well, I mean, the
It would be,
proposal of the
it would be,
memorandum.
but it's something that we would work out together with the friends. And
Okay,
this is in response to Andy's comments and questions. And so he, in his infinite wisdom, said we should take a shot at working it out ourselves
okay,
and make proposals. We're just trying to gather things from other libraries that might be basically something like a template we could use. So that's something we can't, it's not a memorandum of agreement. I did put the, or understanding, unless we all agree and understand. So it would be something that would be a mutual thing. And we thought that we would take our first shot at it and send it over to you. If you're welcome to write the first one yourself, but you thought this would be helpful.
um, the other concern, I believe, and, you know, we haven't had a meeting to discuss this, but I'm not so sure who would even sign this.
It would,
If you're talking about a memorandum of agreement, there's usually a signature involved.
oh, well,
Um,
basically under our way we work, we would have to have a vote by the entire Board of Trustees. And then either it would be signed by one of the co-chairs, I believe one of the co-chairs, but it would be noted in there that this was adopted at a meeting of the Board of Trustees on a certain date.
okay,
So I don't know
so,
what your bylaws require. So whatever it would require, that would be what I think you'd have to follow.
right, right. And I think we're looking into whether, you know, whether or not our bylaws even allow us to sign something like that, or who would sign it. I guess the whole situation still is, I know that Tim and Maureen still feel kind of upset and concerned that it has moved into such a pattern that we have to have a memorandum in order for us to move forward. I
Well,
mean,
hey, Pam, you know, I hate to say it, but you know, a lot of people are getting long in the tooth here. And I think for future generations and future members of the board and the friends, it would be nice to have a letter of understanding to give them some guidance on that, how we work together. You know, what we understand, and our memories are not going to be on the records. So I think we should take what everybody understands in our memories and what we thought and how things were done and put it together so we have something to refer to and to also give to new people coming on.
like I said, you know, I'm just trying to convey some of the feelings of the friends to the trustees. And I guess the only thing I can say at this point is we will look at the document and see where it leads.
Okay, I'm hoping that the friends are going to be happily surprised by what we put together. Um, so I'm hoping. So that I don't want anything like this to happen in the future, frankly. And
I think that a memorandum should be co-written as it's going to be co-signed.
yeah,
So
co-sign.
somebody from the Friends should work with somebody from the Trustees to draft something.
Yeah, Gail, what I was thinking was, we could put something, together, like, it wouldn't be perfect, and send it over to the friends for them to review, and then from there we could have discussion meetings about what the contents are. Does that sound like something would be good?
Everyone agrees, yeah.
I think it's crucial that the Friends and the Board of Trustees work together.
Hmm.
I'm devastated that there was such a misunderstanding and hurt by the Friends, and that just is not correct. The Friends have been so fabulous for the library, and we need to praise them and thank them for all the work they do.
Yeah, and that will be part of the memorandum, is part of, I assume that we're going to be sending something about putting something in there about the policies and how we work together and how good they've been for the library and things like that, and recognition of what they've done, and also to set up some sort of agreement in the future so this doesn't happen again. Because we are the Board of Trustees are the agency that controls the library. I mean, we set up the policies. I mean, we don't do the day-to-day operations, but we oversee stuff. So I think it's important that we work on this together with the friends. So you can take that back and report back, but it's not something that we have drafted. If you want, just so that we can send them some samples, couldn't we?
Sorry. Yes, we could. I didn't want to drink on the microphone.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
now these would only be samples, from other places, examples. But if should we send those over to you, Pam?
Please, I will be happy to share them with with the rest of the board.
Yeah,
Since I'm the liaison,
sure.
I would definitely do that.
Yeah. Now the ones I've seen are from various and sundry libraries around the state and around the country. And there was a recommendation from the Friends of the Connecticut Libraries, uh, some recommendations. And I think there was another recommendation for the American Library Association with samples, because they have a division of Friends in the American Library Association. And so they had some materials. And I mean, it's pretty vague, and it's just a matter of a bunch of ideas going out there to talk about. So there's nothing official, just samples, because we haven't even talked about it among ourselves.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a response to your concerns, our concerns, and Andy's concerns. So he's going to give us a chance to come up with something that he thinks or hopes will eliminate this problem in the future.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that explains some things, and I certainly will share that with the rest of the executive board. And certainly at the May meeting,
mhm.
it's not like we have a monthly meeting, but definitely at the May meeting.
And
And
the, oh, yeah,
can I
go
just
ahead.
ask this question?
Sure.
Priscilla, do you want our old bylaws or do you want to wait till the new amended ones come out?
you know what? If you would send me the old ones, then I'll put them in a file here and then we'll just have, the old ones and then as they make changes or as you make changes, we can keep a record of those here so that we have them. I'll put them in my files here.
Okay,
Three,
I wanted to clarify that. I was not sure from our previous discussion.
Okay. I would suggest a 3-ring binder.
I actually, hey, I cleaned out this file cabinet back here. I have room for a friends folder. They can have their own hanging folder in there.
Okay. That's a pretty high honor there, Pam, to have a Pentaflex folder of your very
I might
own.
even pick a pretty color instead of the lovely olive drab that everything is.
I have some yellows and pinks. If you want some colorful ones, my files are color coded, so I have some very interesting colors. So
One of my previous offices, I made all of the hanging folders purple. Because there was no filing system when I started, and I went, well, if I'm gonna have to do this, I'm gonna make it pretty. So everything was purple.
But what is our Douglas Library official colors?
Green, I guess. Like
Hmm,
our stamps and logos and things are all green, so I
hmm,
guess.
okay. So is that okay, Pam?
Yes, that sounds fine.
Now, in return, do you need copies of our policies that
Uh,
we have in place now, so you can have your own hanging file?
They are all on the website. The ones on our website are all up to date.
Okay,
Would you? I think maybe we should print them off and send them a hard copy. Can you do that, Drusilla?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then you could have a hard copy, for your records also.
thank you.
Hmm. Okay. Did anyone else have any comments about the memorandum?
I do have a comment. It's not specifically on the memorandum or the agreement, but I think another document or something that we should formalize that would be helpful would be something that defines the roles of all three groups, the library board of trustees, the friends, and the library association.
I thought that we've done that.
Well,
Actually, that's in
we
the
have
ACLB handbook, and
right,
it's laid all out in
we have our
columns in the.
brochure. We have the brochure that kind of outlines it, but what I'm saying is, something that is specific to us, to Hebron, because it is a unique a unique setup that we have now that we're no longer an association library, but we still have to maintain the association and what each group's roles and responsibilities are so that everybody understands that anybody new coming in will know that there's three different support groups that support the library. Some people may not know that there is still an association who provides a significant amount of funding for the library.
Hmm.
So I think it would be helpful to formally document that. And we each have our own bylaws. We have the ordinance that governs the trustees, the association has its own bylaws, the friends have their own bylaws, and I think each group knows what they do, but everybody might not know what everybody else is responsible for doing. So
I
just
think
something to think about.
I think that's an excellent idea. Maybe even like
think
in a
as a new person, Donna, that's an excellent idea.
yeah. I mean, we could even make it like really pretty little chart or something, or even a pie chart. Ooh, sorry. That's a great idea. Okay. Oh, and the other thing, can we send over a copy of the ordinance to Pam too? The library ordinance? Drusilla, are you there?
Yes, sorry, I'm having a coughing fit. Yes, I can do
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. You drank, you can't breathe water.
No, it's my allergies are cranky
Okay.
and I forgot to take my afternoon meds, so I'm just gonna hack up a lung. It's fine.
Okay. All right. No hairballs. Okay. So, did anyone else have any comments or suggestions about drafting this? I thought that the co-chairs and Drusilla might want to take a shot at this, and I'm volunteering Gail Richmond. Gail,
Yep, I'm here.
can we volunteer you
For what?
for drafting
Right.
up the memorandum and also
Oh,
drafting
for
up
the memorandum? Yes.
and also who does what?
And who does what?
Yeah. Is that all
I
right with
warn you all, I have my knee replacement surgery on May 2nd. I have my
Ooh,
pre-op today and looks like that horror scene is gonna happen.
oh God. Okay.
So at the May board meeting, you'll be able to like turn cartwheels, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
maybe the June one will give you
I
a
was
month
going to
of
say the
physical
June
therapy.
one.
I'm afraid she's going to have a cane and she's going to start hitting people with it. But
I'm gonna run everybody over with my walker.
okay. And just so I'll send over the materials I have, if you can send over the materials you have. Okay. All right. And then we'll get the whole bunch of stuff over to the friends so they can be overwhelmed like we are. Okay. Moving on to other business. Is there any other business that needs to come before the board? Okay. Was that a comment? I didn't know. Okay. And then strategic, any reports from the strategic plan committees? Peter?
I have an update on safety.
Uh-huh.
Drusilla, I may have missed it, but what's the locksmith's timeline to get rekeyed for the community room?
By the end of the month.
Okay, good. And I don't have it in front of me, but do we have a current disciplinary policy? So that if the kids are caught doing something again,
Yeah, so we have the patron code of conduct, which lays everything out, but that is a very wordy document. So I have distilled that into about 6 bullet points that cover the highlights and lay out that, you know, you get a warning and then you're out for the day. And that is now posted in the teen area and downstairs, and I think it's all over the building actually. But just because I know that their attention spans are not going to read the entire patron code of conduct, so we kind of pulled out the relevant highlights, the things that have been issues. And like I said, they've been much better behaved the last week or so. So I'm hoping that that's going to be a continuing trend.
well, I'm just concerned that if we don't have a current policy, we may get hung up on that.
Yeah, no, we
and
have, I mean, the patron code of conduct is up to date. It was, as far as I know, last redone a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just, like I said, so we're just sort of letting them know what it is, what's in there in
And
simple
and if
language.
and if there is some form of discipline, the last thing I want to see is you get hung out to dry.
Yeah,
So
no,
put the
it,
onus on us.
it
Yeah.
says in there that you can be, you know, in violation of the code, you can be removed from the library for the day. So basically we tell them to go away and they can try again tomorrow. I mean, it would apply to adults as well, or children. It's an everybody policy. And if there are repeated offenses, we can ban them from the library for a specific period of time. We can't ban them indefinitely, but I would probably do something like until school started in the fall. But we
Yeah.
haven't had that issue, fortunately.
And who is we?
It's actually on me, is what it says.
Oh,
But like I said, it hasn't been an issue. I don't expect that it will be. I think that the fact that we have a consistent response and that we have consistently laid out what sort of the key problem behaviors are has gotten the point across. And we have had that particular group has had to leave the library. Once we had to ask them to leave for the day. and gave them a warning the next time they were in, and we have not had to ask them to leave since. So I am cautiously optimistic.
Now
Peter's, sorry, go ahead.
now you had mentioned that you now know the parents.
We
Has
know the
that,
parents of 2 of them.
has
Yes.
that been helpful? I mean, have you?
In one instance, it has been helpful. In one instance, it was not so much. I find that children and teenagers tend to act out when there is something that they're acting out in response to, shall we say. And in one case, it's clearly not something that's going on at home, and in the other case, I'm not. The parent of that particular teenager more or less egged his child on.
Too
But
sad.
yeah, but the other one was very upset that her offspring is causing a problem, and I noticed he's been much better behaved since we connected with her. So
Peter, are you thinking that's something the board should take a look at?
Yes.
Okay, Drusilla, can you say this?
I mean, not,
yeah, I
not
mean
that we
it's
don't have, not that
it,
we don't have enough to do, but it's important, I think. And I just think it's important to have that.
yeah, I mean
So,
it's exactly it's the patron code of conduct, which is on our website. It's just pulling a couple of bullet points to put on
yeah,
posters to say it's not changing the policy in any way. It's just drawing their attention to it in
yeah, because
an easier to understand way.
I don't think the board has officially adopted that.
The code of conduct?
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
Yeah,
we did.
that's yeah, that was
Okay,
before I
Peter, there's your
started.
there's
But
Oh,
the
so
then I'm fine. Then I'm
then
fine, Pat. That's
okay,
fine.
Peter is
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
thank you.
the patron code of conduct, that's yeah, I mean you can find it on our website. That was approved by the board before I started, but it was within the last year or two.
Right, I
Because
recall.
that's a very touchy area.
Gisela, oh, sorry. Gisela, this is Ann. I've seen firsthand your handling of the teenagers, and I think you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you. I try. But yeah, I think it's consistency. It's like with any age group, I think. So that's what we're aiming for. But thank you, I
Okay,
appreciate that.
yeah, so I guess Peter, I'd like to see the bullet points too, because I want to know how to behave in the library too.
Don't run, don't swear,
Uh,
be respectful of the people around you and their belongings.
okay,
No food, and you have to have a cover on your drink. And if you're between the ages of 12 and 18, this is the only floor you can be on without permission. And that's it. That's
okay,
bullet point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that drink and food one is very prevalent because I saw that today when I came in. I
Yeah,
noticed it
so
right away.
we keep telling them, you can bring a drink in if it has a lid,
Yeah.
but no food. And they're getting there. We actually had one come in yesterday, hit the top of the stairs, freeze, and go, my drink, and run back outside because it didn't have a lid on it. I was like, good, we're getting the message.
Good
okay,
job.
okay. Yeah, this is very touchy. Now, the patron code of conduct, that doesn't have anything like when people come in and film you or do anything like that.
I'd have to check for that language, but we,
How do you keep things private?
yeah, I'd have to check the way it's worded, but I know the staff here are aware of the First Amendment audits, as
Yeah,
so-called, where people come in and try to film. Yeah, they're aware of that. We've actually had some discussions about them. We did have one in Dudley, and the person came in and started filming, and the staff there had been, we'd walked through it and we had very carefully labeled, where was staff areas and so on, as we do here. We have a bunch of signs that say staff only. And this person was filming, and then they went into the children's department, and a mother called the police because they were filming her children. So her children were in the area as they went through and filmed, so that was kind of fun. I mean, we you want to wander around my library and film it, you are more than welcome to, but she objected to the fact that they were filming her children, so that was kind of funny.
That's pretty good. So, yeah. Okay. Any more strategic plan committee comments, reports, events?
No.
No? Okay. I'm at Dale's favorite part of the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Can I have a second to that?
I will second that.
Okay. Any discussion?
It's the time is 8:02.
Okay. Wait a minute. I have 8:07.
8:07 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Everyone
8:07. Sorry,
synchronize your watches.
I misread my computer.
Okay. 8:07. Okay. Hearing no discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? And abstentions. Okay. I think we're done and time to turn off the recording.